Hello everyone, welcome to my online classroom. Today we are going to continue Economics Chapter 1 Class 9, The Story of Village Palampur. We have already completed in our first video the page number 1 and 2. Now we are going to focus on the page number 3. Here we have to complete the next heading of this chapter, which is the mention here. Is there a way one can grow more from the same land? We are discussing the first requirement of the production, that is the land. So one heading, subheading already we have discussed that land is the fixed. Now second we have, is there a way one can grow more from the same land? Of course, one person can get more production from the same piece of land. We very well know in India, most of the people, they don't have land, and those who have and they involved in the agricultural activity. So due to less land, they are not able to get more production. But day by day, due to technology, due to green revolution, we have a lot of different methods we have by which we can produce our income, we can produce our production. So let's see how a farmer can grow more or get more production from the same land. So here lines have been mentioned. In the kind of crops grown and facilities available, if we are going to discuss on the basis of the various kinds of crops which is grown in India and these facilities, because until we don't have any facilities, we are not able to grow crops, and other things are also be dependent on the facilities. So on the basis of availability of facilities and the kind of crop grown, Palampur, it is related to the Palampur village. Palampur would resemble a village of the western part of the state of Uttar Pradesh. So this village, Palampur, looks like a village which is situated in the western part of the state of Uttar Pradesh. All land is cultivated in Palampur. No land is left idle. If we are going to see here, so all land is going to be cultivated in Palampur and no land is left idle, because of course we want more production, we want more income to satisfy human needs. So of course we can't leave this kind of natural resources idle. So now let's see what next point it is be mentioned here. During the rainy season, Kharif is a kind of season which we say in rainy season. Rainy season is known as the Kharif season, and the crops which we grow in this season, this is known as the Kharif crops. And this in class 10 also we have the chapter agriculture. In there you will read in a descriptive way. So during the rainy season, Kharif farmers grow jowar and bajra. These plants are used as cattle feed. It is followed by cultivation of potato between October and December. In the winter season, now we have the next season, which is the winter season, and winter season we know by the name Rabi season, and the crops which we grow in this season, they are known as the Rabi crops. Fields are sown with wheat. So what kind of crop we grow in this season, winter season, that is the wheat. From the wheat produced, farmers keep enough wheat for the family's consumption and sell the surplus. Surplus means extra wheat at the market at Raiganj. So after producing the wheat, whatever production is there, so farmers first of all what they are doing, they are keeping the money, the enough wheat for their own family members for their consumption. After that, if they have extra, the surplus wheat, then they sell that surplus wheat at the market of Raiganj, that is another village which is be connected with the village Palampur. So a part of the land area is also devoted to sugarcane, which is harvested once every year. Sugarcane in its raw form or as jaggery is sold to traders in Shahpur. So sugarcane is also be grown in the village Palampur at once every year. And sugarcane, if you are going to see in its raw form, of course it is be utilized, and as well as by sugarcane we make jaggery and sugar, which is going to be sold to the traders in Shahpur town. After that we have next para, which is the main reason why farmers are able to grow 3 different crops in a year in Palampur is due to the well-developed system of irrigation. Electricity came early to Palampur. Its major impact was to transform the system of irrigation. Persian wheels were till then used by farmers to draw water from the wells and irrigate small fields. People saw that the electric run tube wells could irrigate much larger areas of land more effectively. The first few tubers were installed by the government. Soon, however, farmers started setting up private tubers. As a result, by mid-1970s, the entire cultivated area of 200 hectares was irrigated. So under this para, we can understand that before of that, the farmers did to grow any year in the village Palampur for one piece of land, the farmers they grow three different crops in a year. So how it is be possible to grow three different crops in a year in a same piece of land? So it is be possible due to well developed system of irrigation like electricity for irrigation. Electricity, if you're going to compare in comparison to other villages or towns, so electricity came early to Palampur, and that's why it is be possible, it is be helpful for the irrigation. And because before of that, the irrigation, the farmers they were doing, that is they were doing by the help of the Persian wheels, where they draw water from the wells and irrigate small fields. But now they used electric run tubers, and due to electric run tubers, they could irrigate much larger piece of land very easily, and which is very effectively and give more production. So first of all, first in a starting year, the first few tubers were installed by the government, and after that the farmers, those who have the money and those who are the rich farmers, they also started setting up their private tubers, and it's also becoming a earning source for them, because the farmer, those who required the water for irrigation, they ask from these private tubers, and for this facility they have to pay some amount. So in this way, for rich farmers or for the medium farmers, it becomes a source of earning. So now let's see this para also. Not all villages in India have such levels of irrigation. Apart from the riverine plains, coastal regions in our country are well irrigated. In contrast, plateau regions such as the Deccan Plateau have low levels of irrigation. Of the total cultivated area in the country, a little less than 40% is irrigated even today. In the remaining areas, farming is largely dependent on rainfall. So throughout the country, if you're going to see, of course in our country also, many of the farmers, they've dependent today also for irrigation on the rain, but many of the villages today, they have proper irrigation facilities, and the rivers are here, which is very helpful for the irrigation facilities they are giving. But in some areas we have low levels of irrigation like the Deccan Plateau. So for these areas where the farmers are totally largely dependent on rainfall, for in that condition, this irrigation facility which is we are going to run by the electricity, that is are really helpful for them. After that, see another kind of things which is be very important, which is going to be helpful to us to understand how one can grow more than one crop on a same piece of land. So now here one question is coming from this para, that what you mean by multiple cropping? Multiple cropping. So the answer is be given in the same para. To grow more than one crop on a piece of land during the year is known as multiple cropping. So when we are growing more than one crop on a same piece of land during this year, it is known as a multiple cropping. It is the most common way of increasing production on a given piece of land. All farmers in Palampur grow at least two main crops. Many are growing potato as the third crop in the past 15 to 20 years. So here from one piece of land, if on a same year, during of the same year, if we are going to grow more than one crop on the same piece of land, so it is known as a multiple cropping. Now, of course, it increase the production, but at the same, it also give more income to the farmers, but at the same time, it is very helpful for the farmers. Suppose in case of the farmers grow only one crop on that land, and due to any bad weather, any condition, any natural disaster is be there like flood, drought. So in that case, if the crop is going to be destroyed, so of course at least the farmers, they depend on their next crop. They able to earn, they can earn something from the other crop. So in this way, multiple cropping is very helpful to them. After that, we are going to move to the next page. It is here. You have seen that one way of increasing production from the same land is by multiple cropping. So one way to by one piece of land how we are going to produce more income or more crop, it is the way that is multiple cropping. And now we are going to see the other method. It is use modern farming methods for higher yield. So two methods we have to increase our production from the one piece of land. First is the multiple cropping, underline this, and second we have by using modern farming methods. Yield is measured as crop produced on a given piece of land during a single season. What do you mean by yield and how we are going to measure this yield? Yield means production. What kind of production is we there, how we are going to produce. So yield is measured as crop produced on a given piece of land during a single season. Till the mid 1960s, the seeds used in cultivation, if we are going to compare the seeds till the mid 1960s, the seeds cultivation were traditional ones. Whatever the seeds we use for in the cultivation, they were the traditional seeds with relatively low yields. By using this seeds, we are not able to get more production, more yields. Traditional seeds needed less irrigation. Now, what is the benefit of this traditional seeds? If we use in cultivation, why the farmers they favored or they prefer to use these traditional seeds in their farming activities? Because these traditional seeds needed less irrigation. Farmers used cow dung and other natural manure as fertilizers. All these were readily available with the farmers who did not have to buy them, because the farmers at that time they don't have enough money to buy everything from the market, and in market also all the modern methods of farming were not be available. So that's why that time the farmers they use traditional seeds in their cultivation. At the time of in the agriculture, they use traditional seeds which require less irrigation. So because it requires less irrigation, so of course electric running tube wells, there is no need of this kind of tube wells for irrigation. And next for manures and for in place of fertilizers, what kind of fertilizer they use? They use their own original natural manure which is being made by the use of the cow dung, and that's why the farmers they did not buy anything from the market. Now next we have the green revolution. Because there we have read that if you want to gain more production from the same piece of land, so first is the multiple cropping and second by using the modern methods of farming. So modern methods of farming, from where we get this term. So here we have the green revolution. The green revolution in the late 1960s introduced the Indian farmer to cultivation of wheat and rice using high yielding varieties HYVS seeds compared to the traditional seeds. The HYV seeds promise to produce much greater amounts of grain on a single plant. So underline this line, ki what do you mean by the high yielding variety seeds? One mark question is coming, that write down the full form of this HYVS, or what do you mean by the high yielding variety seeds? So the credit goes to the green revolution. In the late 1960s, this green revolution introduced the Indian farmer to cultivation of wheat, especially in the field of wheat and rice. To increase the production of wheat and rice, this green revolution was introduced in the Indian agriculture, and of course it is a boon for the Indian farmer. First of all, it is be used for to increase the production of wheat and rice in India. And the credit goes to M.S. Swaminathan, who is known as the father of this green revolution. Green revolution, if someone will ask you, a green revolution is related to which field? It belongs to which field? So it belongs to agriculture. Green revolution, under the green revolution, we use modern methods of farming by which we increase our production in farming, or yield we produced. So here under this green revolution, what kind of things we use here? So we use HYVS seeds. So what do you mean by this high yielding variety seeds? Actually the high yielding variety seeds, they give more production of grains. They give greater amounts of grain on a single plant in comparison of the traditional seeds which were used by the farmers in village Palampur, which needed less irrigation. Now, as a result, the same piece of land would now produce far larger quantities of food grains than was possible earlier. HYV seeds, however, needed plenty of water and also chemical fertilizers, and it requires chemical fertilizers, and I think other kind of pesticides are be mentioned here. So let's see, we are going to compare this HYV seeds with the traditional seeds. So traditional seeds, they don't require any kind of fertilizers or chemicals or pesticides, but even the traditional seeds, they don't need a lot of plenty of water is be required. But here, if we are going to see the high yielding variety seed, of course, they give more seeds. They are giving a greater amounts of grain in comparison of the traditional ones. But of course, some other points are also mentioned. They needed plenty of water and also chemical and fertilizers as well as the pesticides. Now let's see, at least to understand this figure 1.4, if we are going to understand the picture 1.4, modern farming methods, HYV seeds, chemical fertilizer, etc. So I hope you are all going to understand the whole green revolution and the modern methods of farming which we required in the agriculture. This picture in a short way we can be understand, and if you are going to understand this, so of course in exam you are able to write. You are going to make your own headings, and under that you can write by your own. So first, let's start. See, in the middle of this diagram, in this circle, the fields are be made, and here also it is mentioned modern farming methods. So what do you mean by the modern farming methods? All these modern farming methods are coming under the green revolution, under which we use different things like HYV seeds, like fertilizers, like pesticides, like irrigation. And in irrigation also different kind of ways are there for doing irrigation. Like first we have canals, second we have pump sets, third we have dams. And dams, what kind of, by the dams also what we are getting electricity, and by electricity we are running the tube wells or pump sets. So in this way irrigation is be given, and even we have farm machinery, new kind of machinery also we have for harvesting. At the time of harvesting, like threshers are be there, like tractors we have for plowing to the field. So diesel which is be required. So in this way, all these things, chemical, fertilizer, pesticides, HYV seeds, irrigation facility, farm machinery, they all are coming under the modern farming methods. HYV seeds, as we had discussed, from HYV seeds, in comparison to the traditional seeds, we are getting more production or in a single plant, but a drawback is also there. It requires a lot of water as well as the chemical and fertilizers, and we very well know chemicals and fertilizers, pesticides are not be good for when it is the overuse of fertilizers, pesticides. So of course they are not be good for the fertility of the soil. So now till this I'm going to be complete. I'm going to end this chapter and just wait for my next video. In that we are going to continue this same chapter. Thank you everyone.